All right, Tennessee Titans fans and NFL fans alike, it is time for Tuesday tier rankings here on Two Tone Talk. Every Tuesday we go through, we pick a category, and we put different players or teams or moments into different tiers. And today we are looking at every presumed starting quarterback going into the NFL season. All 32 quarterbacks from all 32 teams. These are the guys that we, to the best of our knowledge, feel like will be starting for these teams. And we are going to be putting them in different tiers. As you can see, the tiers are GOAT up at the top, then great, then fine, then not sure, and then not that guy. And we are going to be putting all 32 of these quarterbacks into one of those tiers. And so let's get it started. We're going by division, and we're starting with the NFC North, a very intriguing division. You've got young, talented quarterbacks, and then you have the Vikings. So here we go. We're going to start with Jordan Love, who had a great finish to his season last year, officially becoming the guy in Green Bay. Playoffs, he was absolutely outstanding, left things on a great note last season. Packers fans are very excited. And so for right now, I am going to put Jordan Love into the great category, just based on what we've seen from him last year, getting the Packers into the playoffs, and then the performance he had against Dallas, the performance he had against San Francisco in the game where they were eliminated. I thought Jordan Love was tremendous. He goes into the great category, and right behind him is Jared Goff for the Detroit Lions. The city of Detroit has absolutely rallied behind Jared Goff, and so he also goes into the great category. I think Jared Goff absolutely benefits from having a lot of great weapons and talent around him, and a great roster there in Detroit, but Jared Goff has performed very well. When he was traded to Detroit from the Rams, Jared Goff was viewed kind of like an afterthought in that trade. The Rams got Stafford and they won a Super Bowl, and everybody was like, there you go, Rams win the trade. But now Detroit and what Jared Goff has accomplished there, it is a career resurgence for him, and we love that. Now we have Caleb Williams, the number one pick of the draft, going to be starting for the Chicago Bears, I presume, from day one. People are acting like this guy has already proven his greatness. It's all based on hopes and dreams. Obviously, Caleb Williams has to go in the not sure category, because how the heck can you be sure he hasn't even taken a snap yet? How can we possibly be sure that Caleb Williams is that guy when he has not even taken a snap? Come on now. Of course he goes into the not sure category. And then, in my opinion, I feel like Sam Darnold is going to be the starting quarterback for Minnesota. That's where my head's at right now. I know they have J.J. McCarthy. I think J.J. McCarthy will eventually start as we get into the season. But for right now, it's Sam Darnold. It's Sam Darnold. God bless him. He's just not that guy. All right, so we move on to the AFC North, arguably the best division in football. They were the best division last season. Looks like they very well could be again, and we are starting with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, the only thing working against him is injuries. He is in danger potentially of being the next Andrew Luck if he can't take care of himself, or I should say if his offensive line cannot take care of him. He is hurt a lot, and it's always big injuries for Joe. But when in there, when he is in there, he is great. He is absolutely great, verging on GOAT. That's how highly I think of Joe Burrow. I think he, when healthy, is the second best quarterback in this league. I truly believe that. I think Joe Burrow is just great. Up next for the Baltimore Ravens, we have Lamar Jackson. Guess what? AFC is stacked with great quarterbacks. And so Lamar Jackson, yes, he goes into the great category. The thing about Lamar is the question that's now going to be looming over him is the same one looming over Josh Allen at Buffalo. Can you do it in the playoffs? Every time Lamar Jackson has gotten to the playoffs, it's at some point they've had a meltdown. against the Titans in 2019 when they were the number 1 seed, against the Bills, I believe, in 2020, and then last year against the Chiefs in the AFC title game at home, where everybody felt like it was gift wrapped for the Ravens, and they dropped the ball. So yes, Lamar Jackson undoubtedly goes into the great category, but people are going to start wondering, can this guy do it in the playoffs? Up next is Deshaun Watson with the Browns. I just based on what I have seen from Deshaun Watson in Cleveland, bro, you are not that guy. I do not believe that Deshaun Watson is that guy. I think he has a great defense. He has a great group of guys around him that can maybe elevate him to being decent sometimes. But when you consider the contract that this guy got in Cleveland, when you consider what they paid this man to come there, despite all of the controversy surrounding him, he got hurt last year. They still made the playoffs because Joe Flacco randomly came in and played well. But I just think that he's not that guy. Russell Wilson is who I personally believe will be starting for the Steelers. Obviously, he's going to have Justin Fields breathing down his neck. But for right now, I say Russell Wilson is fine. He's fine. I know his stint in Denver was a disappointment, but I am going to give Russell Wilson the benefit of the doubt, remembering what he did in Seattle, remembering what he accomplished, assuming that he can get back to being some semblance of that guy with Mike Tomlin as his coach. I'm not going to put him into the not sure, not that guy category. I'm going to give him some respect and at least put him into the fine category. Russell Wilson's fine. If you're a Pittsburgh fan, you have reason for optimism if Russell Wilson is your starting quarterback. He's Russell Wilson. We are now moving on to the NFC East. Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, you want to talk about a quarterback who those questions about can you do it in the playoffs strongly looming over Dak and the Cowboys as a whole. I struggle with this one because I can't put him in the not that guy category. I can't. I mean, honestly, I think overall, do you go fine or do you go great? This is the one I've struggled with the most. He's fine. Dak's fine. He's not bad at all. He's fine. I think that he has been in Dallas long enough now. I think you know what you're going to get with Dak. I think that, he's going to perform well in the regular season. The playoff discrepancies are obviously going to loom over him. And so for right now, I'm willing to say Dak is fine. Daniel Jones with the New York Giants, you are not that guy. God bless him, but Daniel Jones is just not that guy. I don't believe it. I really thought the Giants might go quarterback in the draft. Maybe they would have if the guy they wanted was there. They obviously went Malik Neighbors. Maybe that can help Daniel Jones out. But as it stands right now, I just don't believe Daniel Jones is that guy. Jaden Daniels, rookie coming in Washington. So obviously I'm going to say not sure. I'm excited about what he could bring to the table. I think that, there are some things there that he could bring to that team. They're in rebuild mode when you're in a division with Dallas and Philadelphia. I mean, they're in rebuild. So we'll see. But rookie coming in, got to say not sure. Jalen Hurts. If this were last year at this time, he goes into the great category, no doubt. If this were a year ago right now, he goes into the great category. But after the meltdown that the Philadelphia Eagles had last year, I mean, it was just a meltdown of epic proportions, and Jalen Hurts was a part of it. I'm still going to put him into the great category. There are some Cowboys fans out there that are going to be coming after me for putting Dak in the fine category and Jalen Hurts in the great category. It's just, I mean, Jalen, that Super Bowl run last year, it was like obvious that Jalen Hurts is great and he's awesome. And then last year gave some doubt. I'm going to choose to believe that Jalen Hurts is going to return to form this upcoming season. I'm putting him into the great category. We are moving to the AFC East with the legend Aaron Rodgers. We know how last year went, the heartbreaker, 3 plays into his season. And this might be controversial, but as things stand right now, Aaron Rodgers has to go into the not sure category for me. Allow me to explain. I know it's Aaron Rodgers. I know he's a Hall of Famer. I know he's a multiple-time MVP. I'm talking about right now. As things stand right now, he's getting older. He's coming off of a major injury. We have seen him take, 2-3 snaps with this team in this uniform. Obviously, the roster that they have built around him, if he's Aaron Rodgers, if he's the Aaron Rodgers that we have come to know, the Jets could be insanely dangerous. But I can't say I'm sure that that's the Aaron Rodgers that you are going to get at this point, due to the injury, due to the age. Just not willing to say that right now. Drake May, I guess, is going to be the starter for the Patriots. I guess. I really don't see why not. You're in a tough division. Let's see what you've got. So obviously Drake May is also going to go into the not sure category. Very not sure about this guy. Of all of the top quarterbacks taken in this draft, Drake May is the one that I am the most not sure about. I presume he will be the starter for the Patriots, but I don't know. Josh Allen. I mean, listen, Josh Allen obviously goes into the great category. I just think with Josh, those playoff questions are starting to loom, but I'm not going to hold it over his or Lamar's head too much, because I remember when people had these questions about Peyton Manning. There was a time with Peyton Manning where it was like, yeah, Peyton can get to the playoffs, but can he win enough games there? Can he get to the Super Bowl? Can he win a Super Bowl? And he eventually did, and he did multiple times. So it worked out for Peyton. So I'm not saying that, it's impossible for the Bills to get to where they need to go. I just think the Bills took a step back, losing Stephon Diggs, losing Gabe Davis. I don't know how, if the Jets are good with Aaron Rodgers, we know Miami has potential to be dangerous. I think the Bills could possibly take a step back this year, but Josh Allen, I have to put him in the great category. I mean, he's a turnover machine sometimes. He's a turnover machine. But come on, what he's done there, absolutely. And then last but not least in the AFC East, it is Tua in Miami. And right now, I've got to go with Tua in the fine category. Tua's fine, Obviously, in the cold, so far, he's not that guy. I'm a big fan of Tua. But he's fine. He got Tyreek Hill. That helps a lot. But, I think that it's much harder to believe in Tua for me than it is to believe in Josh Allen. I think, obviously, what you're going to hear, it doesn't matter how Miami starts, it doesn't matter how Tua starts, everybody is going to say, what about the playoffs? What about January? What about when you have to play in the cold? What's going to happen then? And that's fair. With seeing how they played at the end of the season in the playoffs, it's fair. But in general, I would say Tua's fine. We get to Geno Smith in Seattle. And I mean, Geno and what he's done there, I'm going to say Geno's fine. In regards to, I do not believe that Geno Smith is going to win Seattle a Super Bowl. I do not believe that Geno Smith is going to take Seattle to the promised land. But if you're in a position where you're just trying to get your bearings, new coach this year, yeah, you're fine putting Geno Smith out there at quarterback. He'll give you a chance to win. And Seattle with Geno Smith has not been bad the last couple of years. So Geno's fine. Kyler Murray, I have to say, not sure. And neither is my dog. My dog's not sure either. Kyler Murray, I'm just not sure. You know, there's been injuries, obviously. When he's in there, it's inconsistencies, obviously, with his athletic ability. You know, who knows? He could make an explosive play at any given time. But it's hard to be sure what you have with him. The potential's there for something special, but with the injuries and everything that's happened with him, just not sure. Matt Stafford, you know, if this were a year ago, I would have put Stafford into the great category. I would have put him into the great category. But now with injuries piling up, age, I've got to say Stafford is in the not sure category as well. I think, you know, as and I hope that doesn't seem disrespectful, but it's for the same reason that I put Aaron Rodgers there. Injuries and age, you have to take that into account. Also, being in a division with the 49ers, you know, and that's a physical division where, you know, they really get after it. So for right now, I got to say Stafford is just, I'm not sure because of the injuries and the age. If he's Matt Stafford that we've come to know, especially in LA, the Rams are going to be just fine. But for right now, I'm not sure about Stafford because of the injuries and the age. Brock Purdy. Oh, gosh. Where do you put Brock Purdy? Had his team in the Super Bowl last year with a legitimate chance to win. Probably should have won. He's got talent galore around him. And of course, he benefits from that. If he were on any other team, I don't know if Brock Purdy would be as successful as he's been. There are times where he looks great. There are times where he just looks fine. At the end of the day, I'm going to put him in great. I'm going to put him in the great category, even though I'm fully aware that he benefits from his coaching. He benefits from the roster around him. I don't think he would have the same success on any other team, but he's just played in the Super Bowl, and the 49ers are heavily favored by a lot of people to win the Super Bowl this year. So for that, I've got to put him into the great category. Got to. Justin Herbert, I think Justin Herbert's great. I think I am concerned for him because he had a major injury last year, coming back from that. But Jim Harbaugh that's going to be a big help for him. The only thing I worry about is that they lost Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and really didn't replace them. So I don't know. I feel like they're going to be a physical team. So I don't know what that means for Justin Herbert. But based on what we've seen from him, I think Justin Herbert's great. I think, you know, he needs the right coaching. I think he needs the right roster around him, which I'm not sure they'll have this year, but I think Justin Herbert in general is a great quarterback. Gardner Minshew, you know what? I'm going to give this guy his credit. I'm going to say Gardner Minshew. I'm going to put him into the fine category. He's fine. You know, I think look at what Gardner Minshew accomplished with Indianapolis last year. I presume he is going to be the starter for the Raiders. Look at what he accomplished. I mean, they almost made the playoffs. He played extremely well, and so it's kind of the same thing as Geno Smith. I don't think Gardner Minshew is going to win the Raiders a championship. I don't think he's going to be the MVP or anything. But I don't think he'll give you a shot to win. Man, I'm just looking. I really probably should have put Dak into the great category. Because looking at him alongside some of those other guys I put into that fine section, it really is like, whoa. Zach Wilson. I think Zach Wilson will probably get the start for Denver week 1 eventually. I mean, I don't think Bo Nix is going to be ready week 1. I think it'll probably be Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson is not that guy, in my opinion. And now we are up to Patrick by God Mahomes, who is the first and only who will make it into the GOAT tier. To me, there is nobody. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, you can love him, you can hate him. Patrick Mahomes gonna go down as one of the best. The fact that he's been able to do what he's been able to do with a very mediocre receiving core. I know he has Kelsey, but in terms of wide receivers, to do what he's done with a mediocre receiving core all around him, last year to me solidified. Like, because it looked like they were dead in the water. They didn't have a good team. But I'm telling you, as long as they have him at quarterback, the Chiefs have a shot. Always. Baker Mayfield is fine. Baker Mayfield's fine. I know it was a fun story last year, seeing him kind of overperform with Tampa Bay, but I cannot put Baker into the great category. Baker is fine. No, you know, I don't know if Tampa Bay is going to be able to do what they did, recreate what they did last year, but Baker is fine. Bryce Young, not sure. Just not sure on Bryce. He didn't really get a fair shot because, I mean, Carolina had such a bad roster last year. Now that Carolina is going to have a new look around him. So we'll see. I like Bryce, and I hope he gets a fair shot, but for right now, just not sure. Not sure about him. We'll see. Derek Carr, I mean, he's fine. I'm not particularly excited. You know, in a division where you're waiting to see what's going to happen with Bryce Young, the Falcons are going to have Kirk Cousins. The Bucs are coming off of a great year with Baker Mayfield. If I'm a Saints fan, I'm just not particularly excited. First of all, I'm not particularly excited about what they paid Derek Carr to come there. And second of all, I just don't know if I'm jumping for joy about having Derek Carr come back as a quarterback this year. He's fine. He's just like some of the other guys here. Baker and Minshew, Geno, like he's like those guys. He can win you some games. He can get you a wild card spot maybe, but he ain't gonna win you a Super Bowl. Kirk Cousins. Whew, this is tough. I mean, you're talking about a guy coming off of an injury, new team. Obviously you had the Michael Penix stuff, which caused people to talk about, like, what, or have they already rubbed him the wrong way right after they brought him in? I don't know if I could put Cousins into the great category right now, just because of the uncertainty with the injury and the new team and everything. I think there's potential for him. I mean, don't get me wrong, Kirk Cousins should be the best quarterback in this division easily. Kirk Cousins should be better than Derek Carr, Baker Mayfield, and Bryce Young, even though I said we're not sure about Bryce. But for right now, you would think Kirk Cousins would far and away be the best quarterback in that division. But because of the injury and the you know, coming into a new team, getting paid a lot of money, I can't put him into the great category. So I'm just going to put him into the fine category. And I'm going to have to move me up here because I'm running out of, you know, you can't see me like I'm John Cena. So I put Kirk into the fine category with potential. I think with the roster Atlanta has and the schedule they have, he could come in and be great. I think there's potential there to be great. I think if you get the kind of Kirk Cousins that we've seen for the most part in Minnesota, that would be great for Atlanta. But for right now, I can't put him ahead of fine just because maybe I should put him into not sure, because it's like, again, everything I've said, whatever. Anthony Richardson. We are to the AFC South now. Anthony Richardson, not sure. How could you be sure? Despite the fact that the national media pretends that he's a proven commodity, let us all step back and remember We are not sure about Anthony Richardson. He has played in 2 games. Is there potential? Is he gifted? Is he athletic? Can he do some great things? Well, sure. But we have not seen him stay healthy. And if he is healthy, we don't even know the extent of what he brings to the table. So, of course, with Anthony Richardson, not sure. CJ Stroud, bad as I hate to do it, for right now, CJ goes into the great category. I know sophomore slump could always happen. Seems too good to be true. Could he possibly live up to the expectations? But for right now, I have to put him into the great category based on the rookie year he had, the success that he had there at Houston, the weapons that he's going to have around him. Yeah, I have to put CJ Stroud into the great category. Trevor Lawrence. I am going to tick some people off. To me, Trevor Lawrence is fine. He's fine. I don't know how you could possibly say he's great. I don't think he's done anything great. I mean, he had a good ending to not last season, but the season before. He's shown signs, but he has not consistently put it together. Obviously, last year he got hurt. I think that affected him. I will give him that. But yeah, I don't know how anybody, unless you're in Duval County, I don't know how you could say Trevor Lawrence is great as of right now. He's fine. Last but not least is our guy, Will Levis. Saved him for last. Will Levis goes into the GOAT. I'm just kidding. Will Levis goes in not sure. He got some snaps last year. There were some good things. There were some turnovers. There were some wild moments with him. Obviously, this is a Titans podcast, so of course we will acknowledge that there were offensive line issues. There were all sorts of other things, but there's optimism, right? There's reason for optimism. There's reason to be excited, but of course, you can't just definitively sit here and say Will Levis is the king of the world or Will Levis is the worst. Just not sure. Potential, yes, but I kind of look at him and Anthony Richardson and Bryce Young. I kind of look at them like rookies alongside Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May. I mean, you're really going to get your first look at them like in charge of the team. This is their team, so there you go. This is Tuesday tier rankings here on Two Tone Talk. Thank you guys for joining me. Let me know how much you hated this, how much you disagree with it, especially the Dak in the fine category. If I could change one, I'd probably move him up one. That seems a little ridiculous. Either way, let me know what you think. Everybody have a good day. Bye.